Hi, my name is Gabe Arnold. I'm the founder and CEO of Business Marketing Engine. And on today's show, we're going to talk about how you can reach seven figures plus in business with integrity and sustainability. And all this week, we're going to be talking about a lot of mindset as it relates to entrepreneurs, as it relates to growing your business. I'm going to be just sharing a lot of the lessons that I've learned over the years and some things that I've also been learning recently. So stay tuned and I'll share this with you. When I started Business Marketing Engine, it was 16 years ago under a different brand name. It's the same company, but we rebranded because I started with a terrible brand name. And the first few years were a challenge. Like it was a lot of me doing everything. I was trying to figure out what services I could best provide to my clients, and I was still working a couple other jobs. So the business was a little bit of a side hustle to start. And then about like 11 or 12 years ago is when the business really started to grow and take form. And it was the early stages of becoming what it is today. And one of those first steps that I took was hiring an assistant and hiring somebody to take some work off my plate. And I remember when I was talking to my partner, Rachel, at the time. She was my business partner then, and she is my wife now. Um, but I was like, "Hey, I think I need an assistant." She's like, "No way, that seems like a terrible idea. I don't know if we can afford it." It's one of the few times that we didn't really agree. And I said, "You know what? I just feel really strongly like this is going to be a step that if we take this, it will help us grow." And I can look back at my profit and loss for that year, and I can see exactly when I hired my assistant because our revenue went up and I was able to accomplish more. And as we think about scaling a business to seven figures, which I've done a couple times now, this is my second business where I've scaled well over seven figures. One of the first things that comes to mind for me is the realization that in order to grow, we have to focus on effectively delegating the work that we do to other people because I have 24 hours a day. So do you. Everybody on the planet has 24 hours a day. And if you look at the difference between somebody that is making minimum wage somewhere and you look at somebody who's a billionaire or a trillionaire, I think we have trillionaires on the way here, right? Then they are simply choosing to invest their time differently than the person that is making minimum wage right now. And one of those ways that we scale our impact is by delegating effectively some of the roles, some of the work that we do. And what I found is as we walk this entrepreneurial path, we have to keep learning delegation again at the next level. So for me, again, like 11, 12 years ago, whatever point it was when I first hired my assistant, that was a huge step. And I had to learn how to think about what tasks I could hand off to my assistant. I also had to learn how to communicate clearly and effectively so that I could explain the results that I wanted, the outcome that I wanted. And once I was able to do that, shortly after that was when I started what became $1 million product for our business, a copywriting service. And I was able to productize the whole system. And my assistant in the beginning actually ran that whole department and ran that whole product. And I would have never been able to achieve that if I hadn't taken that leap of faith and hired an assistant. Once I had an assistant, I kind of figured out this process of delegating out roles, delegating out tasks. And that's when we started hiring writers and designers and developers and all the folks that we have today. And every time that I've taken that step, I've realized that I have to relearn how to delegate at that level. A similar, I'm in a similar season right now in business where I realized that handling all the marketing strategy for all of our clients, really handling client success myself, owning all the sales for the business. I've realized, over the last few months that I'm hitting this ceiling of growth and I'm not going to be able to grow again to the next level unless I hand off those roles and I stop doing that work. And at first, that's kind of a scary thing to think about because part of me was like, man, like, well, what's my purpose in the company or what am I here for? If I'm giving away all the work that I do, then what am I going to do? But in reality, when we make that leap of faith, when we invest in somebody else and we learn the process, we really educate them, we really support that new team member, we delegate effectively, and we empower them to be successful, what happens to me over and over and over is I bring in people that far exceed the level of work and the excellence or any results that I was delivering because they're solely focused on that. And they have the training and the support and everything they need to do it. And so as I've started to step out of different roles, different departments inside my company, all that happens is the company grows. But it takes courage and it takes that mindset and that realization that if we want to grow and scale, we have to keep looking at what do I need to let go of and how can I empower another team member, another employee, maybe it's even another vendor to own this for our company so that they can have sole focus on that and achieve better results than I'm achieving by trying to split my focus and split my attention. And so the biggest difference that I've witnessed, because I've worked with well over 1,000 companies over the last 25 years now in multiple different entrepreneurial spaces, is that the companies that grow and scale are very intentional about bringing in people to take away work from the leader, from the founder, from the executive in the business. And as they incrementally do that and they keep handing off work, they create time for the founder, for the entrepreneur to then look at what's next, to work on more strategic things, to really spend time making wise investments with time and capital. And so by taking that step at every level of, okay, what needs to be let go of? What can I delegate? What can I hand off? That's ultimately how we scale to seven figures and eight and 10 and beyond. And so what I want to challenge you today is ask yourself, what are the tasks or roles or activities that you're holding on to because maybe you're afraid to delegate them, or maybe because you think that you really love them and nobody else could do them as well as you could, which is not true. I've felt that way before too. Or maybe you just feel like, I don't know if I could afford to bring somebody on. All of those are mindsets that we have to challenge and look at and say, okay, if it's really that I can't afford somebody, then why can't I afford them? Am I not charging the proper prices? Or is it not accurate? And if I was to bring somebody in to take that role, what would that free me up to create more revenue in the business? So ask yourself today, what is going on in your life and your business that needs to be delegated, that you need to hand off and empower somebody else to own and run for you? Because that is always the next step in growing and scaling. So I hope that helps you think a little bit differently about your business. And I'm going to continue to share some mindset tools and viewpoints that have helped me a lot this week. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today. If you have any questions about this, comment down below or shoot me a message. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode.